So here to talk about Heritage Days is Margaret Wild and Sharon Stewart, and they were so good to come in today because their event is coming up later this week, the 25th and the 26th, and they are deep into planning it. So ladies, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Good. All right. So Sharon, you are the person who is in charge of Heritage Days with Friends of Sacajawea State Park. First of all, explain to us, what is it? What is it?
Heritage Days is events and stations from the Ice Age floods up through the 1927s when the Daughters of the Pioneers started the park. And it's giving you the history of the whole park out there, and there's so much history. And it's all in reenactments. It's a wonderful educational event for children.
How are children going to be involved in this? I mean, are you relying on parents to bring them out, or what else is going on there?
We have something like 15 different schools that are bringing their children out. There's going to be 1,600 children on Friday out there, and this is going to be their field trip for them. And it's they'll have chaperones with them and their teachers, and it's going to be big, and they're going to enjoy it. They'll come out with their little eyes closed, come in and leave with their eyes big and saying, I didn't know Lewis Park did this, I didn't know the mountain men did that, I didn't know the Native Americans did this way. Mm-hmm. So they're getting to see a lot.
So the reenactments, I think, are the best part. I mean, I've been. Andrew was just in here. He records some stuff for us, and he says he's been too. I think a lot of people in the Tri-Cities have been, and if you haven't, you better make room for that in your calendar coming up this week, the 25th or the 26th. Tell me more about the reenactments.
Okay, this year we've got several new things coming on. We have 4 authors that are coming that have wrote books about this area, about Sacajawea and Lewis Park on the State of Columbia, about Ainsworth, the old town that was in that park at one time, and about the White Stallion. And they will be talking to the children also on Saturday, or Friday and Saturday too. But we have Native American dancers. We have 3 different tribes being represented out there. There will be mountain men and fur traders. We will have 2 Lewis and Clark camps, and the confluence that Maya Lynn designed will be a station also. We'll have flint knappers, wood carvers, Dutch oven cooking, about the Saturn release, and we'll have birds of prey, antique engine or antique cars, and a steam engine, which represents the 1900s.
Wow, so there's a lot going on. When did Lewis and Clark actually camp there?
In October of 1805, 16th, 17th, and 18th. They arrived at noon on the 16th and left at noon on the 18th.
So it looked a little bit different than it does right now, obviously. What do we know about their visit there at that point, the confluence of the 2 rivers?
Actually, on the 17th, Clark took a couple of men and possibly his slave York with him and went up the river as far as the Yakima, or Tactile as they called it, river. And then Lewis and Sacajawea stayed there. By this time, she had become their translator. She had met another Shoshone lady, and she helped Lewis do some Native American translation and drying out their clothes because they got wet coming down through the Ice Harbor area.
Okay. Wow. So this event has like an all-day children focus on the 25th, but if adults, if you don't want to have to work through all the children, come on the 26th. That's what I say.
That's true. Although we are going to have 275 adults also coming out.
Yeah. This is a great, my children went to Kamaikan High School, and what was really interesting one year when we came out is that my daughter was wearing a Kamaikan sweatshirt. And sadly, I don't really think that children or a lot of people in this area even understand who Kamiakin is. So a Native American person asked her if she knew who Kamiakin was. And she got a little lesson right there that was completely unplanned, but it was very interesting. So it's a great opportunity.
We have a book in the museum about Kamiakin for sale.
Oh, in your museum,
In the
there
museum.
at the
At
park,
the park,
yeah.
it's open every day, 10 to 5.
So there is quite a bit of tie-in at your event, the Heritage Days, with the Lewis and Clark expedition, correct?
Correct, because we have the Native Americans, for one. There was 200 that greeted Lewis and Clark when they arrived there. We have a medicine box that is about the medicines that Lewis and Clark took. We have a discovery box, which is about the clothing that they wore. We have the one author that will be talking about the importance of Sacajawea to them. The other author will be talking about the Lewis and Clark on the Snake and the Columbia rivers. Another one will be talking about the white stallion at the Walla Walla State Park. There's plant mapping and the wood carving. Of course, wood carving was something they carved their tools and stuff. The Dutch oven cooking is actually part of the Oregon Trail, but it's also Lewis and Clark. That's how they cooked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all ties in.
It's a great opportunity to learn all of those things firsthand. You don't have to read about it, you actually get to see it. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break right here, but when we come back, I want to learn more just simply about Sacajawea State Park. I mean, it's this little jewel. It is a little jewel of a park, and if you don't, first of all, know where it is, that's where we'll start. We're back in a moment. This is Meet in the Middle on this Monday. My name is Christine Brown. Hey, if you want to join us with a comment or a question, our phone number is 547-8726. Right now I'm talking with Margaret Wild and Sharon Stewart. They are part of the group called Friends of Sacajawea State Park, and they are the group that is basically the organizing body behind Heritage Days. They're coming up later this week, September 25th and 26th. So how do you get to Sacajawea State Park? I mean, where is it? If people don't know where it is, how do you get there?
That was a good question for me. It's on the confluence of the Snake and the Columbia. It comes right between the two of them. And you come down either through Big Pasco to get there, or you'll come down Highway 12, I think. I got the right highway
Yes.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And turn off at the tank farm and come down over the railroad tracks and stay right straight on until you come into the park.
So basically it would be like you're going to Walla Walla, but you're going to
Yes.
turn off before you get to the double bridges right there.
Mhm.
And there are signs.
There is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So does it cost to get into the park? This is a state park.
It's a state park, and on Friday, it is going to cost either $10, or if you have a Discover Pass, you can get in with a Discover Pass. If you happen to be disabled, a Washington State disabled person, you can come in with your disability pass. If you are a disabled veteran, you can get in that way. If you happen to have foster children, you should have a ticket for freedom to come in also on free, not that way. But otherwise, it's $10 for the day, or it's buy a Discover Pass for $30, and it's good for 100 Washington State Parks for a full year from the time you buy it. And you can buy those at the gate if you want to. Now, on Saturday, it is Public Lands Day. Anyway, they're giving the parks is making it a free day, where there will be no charge at all for the cars that day.
Okay, so normally, if not Heritage Days, but if I want to go out there, it's $10 a car.
Right.
Okay, to go inside the park.
Mm-hmm.
How does the Friends, where do the Friends of Sacajawea State Park come from? I mean, what do you do?
Well, we actually are a group that we put together about 3 years ago that we started it. And we started it because, as always, there's always something going on about closing down a park. Now, this park has got the history from the Ice Age floods up through the 1927s. And we decided we wanted to help it. So our mission is to promote it, protect it, and teach and help. And like, we've already bought trees for out there at the park. This last weekend, we went out and did a cleanup and bought a tree for a young Boy Scout group to plant so they could get one of their badges that they wanted. And to give programs like this to the public.
You also have an interpretive center, I mean a building there that's
Yes,
kind of
we
a museum, and you volunteer there as well?
Yes, we do. And all of us, there's about 70 members in the group. And we've kept the interpretive center open from 10 to 5 every day of the week, from April 1st through October 31st every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the interpretive center, when you come in, you start out with Sacajawea, see a little bit of what they took from St. Louis, but then you get to meet the Mandans, the Shoshones, the Columbia Plateau tribes, the Chinook, get to come out with the old town of Ainsworth, and about the daughters that started the park, and they actually planted the first trees there because it was just sagebrush and prickly pear cactus when most of the park was there.
Well, it doesn't look like that now. It's a beautiful oasis, beautiful grass and a roped off swimming area, a couple of boat docks. I mean, it's beautiful for picnicking, beautiful park. Yeah, and I'm glad that you and your 70 members are there working to preserve it, because yes, it just seems like that is one of the first things when we talk about not having enough money as a society. We want to close off our parks or shut them down, and that would be a real shame for this park. It is unique.
Yes, it is, and it's a wonderful place to bring your family and have a picnic and just enjoy. And we have wildlife out there that people doesn't even know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get a chance to see some of it. They usually stay pretty well hid during the daytime.
Like what?
We
Fox?
have deer, and
Oh,
fox,
oh.
and coyotes, and raccoons, and porcupines, and
Squirrels.
beaver, and squirrels, lots of squirrels, and
Geese.
lots of birds.
Geese and birds.
Yeah. Oh, that's really, really nice. Okay, so we can come out there up until the 31st of October. Does the park itself completely close down then for the winter months, or what?
It did not last year. They left the gate open so you could come into the boat landing and ride your boat if you wanted to. I don't know what the plans are for this year, but they blocked off just the one area. If they do, then they could come in and boat or just walk through the park. But we do shut it down because it freezes up out there.
Mm-hmm. So there is a boat launch out there as well?
Yes, there is.
Yeah. And what's that area off the, right next to the boat launch? There's like teepees and there have
that's
been...
what we call the Wanapin Village. In 2005, when it was the bicentennial, the Wanapins put up a beautiful Wanapin Village there. And when it was over, they took it down, but some Boy Scouts went out and put the frameworks back up as that, so we call that the Wanapin Village out there.
It's pretty cool to just wander around that as well.
It is.
Yeah, a lot to be seen. All right, so I want to go back to the actual event that's coming up, the 25th and 26th, Heritage Days. Whenever I go to an event, one of the first questions I ask is there any food?
Oh, yes. That's Margaret's department.
Yes, there's food. We have 2 vendors. A little hard to find vendors, I found out. A lot of them have contracts. And I went to Food Truck Friday in Pasco several times to do research and try out their food. Sharon and I were doing that and got some really good food. But we have 2. We have Mogi Villa, and she does coffee and sandwiches and hot dogs and donuts and things like that. And we have Ziggy's, which is a brand new food truck this year, husband-wife team, and they just won an award, I read in the paper, for being the new truck at the Fiery Food Festival. They won an award. They're going to be out there. A different menu than the other truck. And then we have the caramel corn. They're always there.
Oh, that's really nice. Okay, so we'll be able to get some food if we need to.
Yes.
Is this the first year that the Friends of Sacajawea have operated this event? And you were telling me before this is its 14th year, actually, of Heritage Days.
Yes, it is the first year that we have done it. It's quite an adventure, and we are putting on a silent auction also for people to come to that will help pay for it next year. The people that join in on the silent auction. It's it's just been a wonderful experience. Let's put it that way for everyone to come to.
There's a lot of varied items in the silent auction. It's open Friday and Saturday. So anybody can come in and check it out and make a bid.
Is the interpretive center open during the Heritage Days?
Yes, it will be open. There'll be volunteers in there. They will be guiding on Friday. They will be guiding every half hour a school group through. We have just a certain amount that we can get in, that we take the school group through, and we keep enough room for other people to come through too. At the same time, if they want to, they can even follow a tour with the children if they want to.
Yeah. If, as the children come out there, are there specific things that you have them do in order, or is it just with the teacher, whatever they want to do? How does it work?
What we're doing is at each one of the stations gives a 15 to 20 minute talk and then answer questions for 5 minutes. Then they move on to another one. It's organized with the idea that when they come out, they go to certain stations. And they will arrive on their school buses, dropped off at the school bus stop, so they're not out in the middle of the parking lot, or it might scare us. And then we send them off, and we have this schedule for them. And they're there about 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on whether they're having lunch or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
The teachers know ahead of time. They choose the stations because there isn't time to do all the stations. We encourage them to come back Saturday with their parents and see the whole thing.
Oh, okay. That sounds really, really smart.
Mhm.
All right, these enactments of Lewis and Clark and the Mountain Men, you know, I've seen these people doing this, and they really get into it. I mean, a lot of people have actually even taken on this very specific character. Maybe somebody has decided that they're going to be Lewis, somebody else Clark, I mean, and other people who are part of the expedition.
well, yes, we have Glenna Allison that is going to be Lewis. He has done this for all of the years that we've been doing it. I'm trying to think of what John Orthman does. He has another persona. Reed Olbrud, one of our park rangers, he is the fiddling ranger, as everybody calls him. But there is one that I think it was Fields. I'm probably giving the wrong name now. That he always plays his fiddle and goes into that stage. We also, at one time, had a Private Shannon. There was a young man that did that until he had to go to college, and now he's out working, so he's not there anymore. But Private Shannon was the youngest member of the crew. He was 17. So it went clear up to the top. There's Patrick Gass, which was a sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
And they go into this persona and they pretend that they don't pretend, they act it out. And the mountain men do the same thing. Well, this is how I caught a beaver the other day, and things like this. So they really have it. The kids, the children, really learn from it. They learn more than what you would be surprised what they learn out of that. Much more than what they do just going through the interpretive center. I'd really recommend it to all the teachers I've talked to this year to forget the interpretive center and do the re-enactors.
So living history.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful way to learn.
And it's got everything. It's got, for the third graders, they're doing Native Americans. Fourth graders, Lewis and Clark. Fifth graders are coming out for another thing. Sixth graders and seventh graders. That's our range limit this year that we've got coming. And we have the birds of prey also out there, which are live birds.
Yes, where are they from? WSU?
They're from, they're the Blue Mountain Wildlife.
Oh, okay. So they'll probably have some hawks, maybe an eagle,
Right.
owls.
Mhm.
Those are beautiful too.
And they feed them at certain times, and they'll have the program. It's fun to watch them feed them, and they give a talk about the birds.
So,
Very interesting.
All right, so it is September 25th and 26th. It is called Heritage Days, put on by the Friends of Sacajawea State Park. Hey, let me ask you, a lot of people now say Sacajawea but you don't. Why is that?
okay, our park was started in 1927 by the Daughters of the Pioneers. In 1931, they turned it over to Washington State Parks. And at the time, Washington State Parks named it after the only girl that was in the Lewis and Clark journey in honor of the Daughters of the Pioneers. Now, we have kept the historic spelling of Sacajawea. The historians say there is no J in the Indian language, and they say it's Sacajawea. Now, the Shoshone, where she was born in Salmon, Idaho, says Sacajawea. The Hadassah who kidnapped her says Sacajawea. The Mandans, where she ended up, says Sacajawea. There was 14 different ways in the journal, plus Janie. So, like I say, when people come into the interpretive center, take your choice on how you want to pronounce her name, because every Native American tribe pronounces her name differently, and it all means something different.
How interesting. All right, thank you. So my guests have been Margaret Wild and Sharon Stewart. We wish you the best of luck this weekend as you're pulling off this event in charge for the first time. I'm sure it will be a success. September 25th and 26th at Sacajawea State Park. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.